Hello everyone, welcome back to the English class. In this session, we are going to discuss basic grammar. Basic grammar is something very important. Basic grammar is the foundation. Already, in one of our earlier sessions, we have very clearly discussed the importance of basic grammar, and please understand the fact that basic grammar is not just the foundation, but it will give you the complete idea about the rules of grammar. In one of our earlier sessions, we have very clearly discussed the process of sentence formation, correct? So, sentence formation is something very important, and sentence is formed. Whatever sentence we talk about, sentence is formed only with the right usage of subject and the right usage of helping verb and the right usage of verb. So the relationship between the proper subject and the proper helping verb is step number 1, and also step number 2 is the relationship between the proper helping verb and the proper verb. That is the main element involved in learning the basic grammar. So in this session, we are going to do a very few important examples based on basic grammar. Please listen to the session very carefully and try to solve the questions by yourselves and then compare your answer with my answer. Because in our English syllabus, whatever topics we are going to discuss in our future videos, in our further sessions, everything is purely based on your knowledge of basic grammar. Here we go. How dash you enjoyed the trip? If you see this question here, see the verb. See the verb. Here the verb is clearly past tense, correct? Here the verb is clearly past tense. If you observe, here the verb is clearly past tense. Now, let's take the options one by one. Let's have a look at the option 1R. We all have discussed that when R comes in a sentence, the verb should be in ing form, correct? When we use R, the verb should be in ing form. Here, the verb is not in ing form, so it cannot be used. Now, see the C option. The verb here is did, and we have discussed that when did comes in a sentence, the verb should be first form. So here, enjoyed is not the first form. And fourth option, instantly you can eliminate because here the subject is you, and you was is not the right grammar. So naturally, the right answer is option B, that is, how have you enjoyed the trip? We need to be patient enough when we do questions like this. Generally, what happens is we tend to manage with broken English, which will lead to all consequences. Here we go with the next question. Dash the doctor come on time today. Dash the doctor come on time today. Here you see the verb first of all. I always say this every time, try to find out the verb clearly. Focus on the verb as much as possible because verb is something very important. If you see here come is what? To understand that, you must know the verbal forms of come. Do you know the verbal forms of come? Come, came, come are the verbal forms, correct? The verbal forms of come are come, came, come. So now naturally, come can be here V1 or come can be here V3. So it can be V1 or it can be V3. So we should be more careful now in this question especially. Now you see the first option have. Have is immediately wrong, I can say, because see the subject here, the doctor. See the subject here, doctor. Now naturally, when we talk about, when we use the subject, doctor can be he or doctor can be she, correct? Doctor can be he or doctor can be she, correct? So now naturally, I cannot use the helping verb have at all, because if I were to use he or she, I may use has if I want to use, but have is no chance. Now naturally C option also no way, because have. Now if I want to use is, the verb that is required is ing form. So naturally option B is the right option. Did the doctor come on time today? You may be wondering, is this really important to practice questions of basic level like this? 100% yes. Because please understand, the stronger the foundation is, the better we can learn in the future topics. Here we go to the next question. It's a very important question. Listen to the question very carefully and try to answer this question. The group of boys dash attacked the office. The group of boys dash attacked the office. If you see this question, what are you fundamentally talking about? Are you talking about boys? No. The logical point is you are not talking about the boys. You are talking about group. So henceforth, group becomes the subject. Please understand here, group becomes the subject. Now tell me, group is singular or plural? Group is singular. For example, the pronoun for group is it. Pronoun for group is it. So now naturally, the group of boys means it is the subject. Can I use have? No way. I can't use have it at all because group is singular. I can't use have in any way. Can I use are? No chance. I cannot use group are. Now the remaining two options are I may use has, I may use will. Both have some chance. Now how do I decide it? That can be decided based on the verb. What is the verb here? Attacked. Now, we all know that, we all have discussed that will is always followed with the helping verb, verbal form, first form, correct? Will is always used with the verb V1. So now tell me, attacked is not V1. So the right answer is option C, that is has. Correct? So that is the point here. Now the natural answer is the group of boys has attacked the office. We'll go to the next question. Miss Sandhya dash working here for 11 years. It's a very important model. Even in our further courses also, we have some prominence about this question. You are fundamentally talking about Sandhya. So now Sandhya means she. Am I right? Sandhya is a woman. It can be now she. There is no way I can use have because there is no chance that Sandhya have together can be used. She is singular, have is plural. Similarly, I will eliminate the second option as well because Sandhya have been can also be wrong. Now there are two ways I can use. One, Miss Sandhya is. Two, Miss Sandhya has been. There are more chances of both the questions. Am I right? There are more chances of both the questions. Now I have to decide very wisely what is the right option. If you logically think, both are correct. Miss Sandhya is working here is correct. Miss Sandhya has been working here is correct. Both are correct. But if you see here, there is a hint for 11 years. What is the hint here? For 11 years. Which means you have mentioned here some period of time. You have mentioned here some period of time. So now naturally, Miss Sandhya dash working here means Miss Sandhya has been working here. Because you have mentioned a period of time or point of time, we use something called present perfect continuous, and in present perfect continuous has been is naturally used. If some of you is wondering what is this present perfect continuous, don't worry, relax, we will definitely talk about it very soon. Here we go to the next question. Why dash your brother attended the seminar? First of all, please identify the subject properly. Like I have mentioned many times earlier, when you want to choose grammar to the right question, you have to be very clever in choosing the right subject first of all. Are you talking about you? No. I am fundamentally talking about your brother. Now brother is he, correct? Now when the subject is he, there is no chance I can use this. Now there is the better chance of this option, second option. There is a decent chance of this. There is a good chance of this. But now I know that when is comes in a sentence, the verb should be always with ing. When did comes in a sentence, the verb should be always V1. When has comes in a sentence, the verb is always V3. Isn't it not interesting? Isn't it interesting? Because in a sentence, it's very interesting to see how the relationship exists. So now naturally here attended is already not V1. So this is gone. It is not ing. So this is gone. Now the only option left is second option. Let's move ahead to the next question. I dash playing shuttle when you called me. I dash playing shuttle when you called me. Correct? It's a beautiful question. But before we answer this question, let's be very sure of this. Have always takes the verb in the third form. Am always takes the verb in the ing form. Was always takes the verb in the ing form. Had always takes the verb in the third form. If you see here, playing is the verb here, correct? Playing is the verb here. Now naturally, had is gone and have is gone. Now there are two better chances where I can say, I was playing shuttle, I am playing shuttle. Out of these two, definitely one is the right answer. I was playing shuttle, I am playing shuttle. If you see here, the given sentence is completely in the past tense. So now was is the decent option. I was playing shuttle when you called me is the right answer. Let's move ahead to the next question. The students dash been trained. The students dash been trained. Be very intelligent. See the subject properly. I always say this. You have to always be very careful in choosing the subject first, because only when you choose the subject properly, the rest of the process becomes easy for you. If you are not able to choose the subject properly, you can't get the right answer. So what is the subject you're fundamentally talking about? Students is a subject you're talking about. Now students means what? Students means they, correct? When you talk about students, it means they is what you are talking about, isn't it? When you mention students, you're basically talking about the pronoun they, correct? You're talking about the pronoun they. Now that's all matters. Now when we use they is already plural, correct? When we use they is already plural, correct? Now based on that, we choose the right option. Based on that, we choose the right option. See here, they has no chance at all. Now, please understand, when will comes in a sentence, the verb is first form. When have comes in a sentence, the verb is third form. Similarly, when we have are as the helping verb, the verb is in the ing form. In the ing form. Correct? Now, this is all that matters. Here, if you see, been is already given. I think there the answer ends. There we get the answer. Can I say, my dear friends, can I say will been? No way. There is no grammar like will been. It is wrong. Now, can I use the expression like are being? No way. Are being expression itself doesn't make any sense. So answer is option C, that is have. Correct? Now some of you may be wondering, so will be is wrong, but can I use will be? 100% we can use will be. So when we use will be, that we will discuss very soon in our upcoming videos. Now are being is wrong, but can I use are being? 100% you can use are being, because are being is the right grammar. You may be wondering, you may be asking me a doubt, so when can we use are being? Yes, are being is definitely used in a separate topic called passive voice present continuous, which we will discuss very soon. We'll go ahead to the next question. Dash your parents know me. See the question? Dash your parents know me. Questions like this, don't be judgmental, don't make mistakes. You're talking about fundamentally parents. You're fundamentally talking about parents. Now parents means what? They. Parents means what? They. Now can I say does they? No. Can I say do they? Yes. Can I say have they? Yes. Can I say are they? Yes. So now there is better chance for first, third and fourth options. But I have to choose the verbal form very intelligently. When do comes, the verb is first form. When have comes, the verb is third form. When are comes, the verb is ing form. But now see the verb here. What is the verb here that you find here? The verb is no. The verb is no. No is what? No is the first form of the verb. So naturally the answer is option A. So basic grammar is all about the beautiful relationship between the right subject, right helping verb and right verb. And this is all that makes a beautiful statement. A beautiful sentence is based on the relationships. Okay. We'll go to the next question. Why dash you drive the car fast? Why dash you drive the car fast? If you see here, first of all, identify the subject in the sentence properly. What is the subject you are talking about? You. Now, can I say does you? No chance. Can I say have you? Yes. Can I say did you? Yes. Can I say are you? Yes. Now, what is a verbal form? When have comes, V3 comes. When did comes, V1 comes. When are comes, ing comes. When R comes, ing comes. Correct? When R comes, ing comes. Now, what is the verb is used here is drive. So drive is what? Drive is the first form. So naturally, this goes wrong. This goes wrong. Only the C option is the right option. So why did you drive the car fast is the right option. Why did you drive the car fast is the right option. I hope the point is clear. We'll go to the next question. The clerk dash sleeping when manager came. See, the clerk dash sleeping when the manager came. Fundamentally, you're talking about the subject clerk. You're basically talking about the subject clerk. Now, tell me, clerk can be he or clerk can be she, correct? Clerk can be he or clerk can be she. So naturally, this option is gone. Now, it can be the first option, it can be the third option, it can be the fourth option. Now, what is a verbal form? Will plus V1, was plus ing, likewise, is plus also ing. What is the verb used here? Sleeping. Sleeping is the ing form, so this option is gone. It can be now was, it can be now is, which is right. If you see the sentence here, came. Now naturally, my dear friends, came is what? Past tense, correct? Came is what? Past tense. So naturally now, the clerk is coming is wrong. The right answer is option C, that is, the clerk was coming is the right option. The clerk was sleeping. Sorry, the clerk was sleeping when the manager came is the right expression. I hope you're following it. We'll go to the next exercise. When the earthquake came, I dash watching television. Now here, the subject is basically I, and there is no relationship between I and were except in one imaginary case, which we will talk in conditionals later. Now, when was comes in a sentence, the verb is in ing form. When had comes in a sentence, the verb is in V3. When am comes in a sentence, the verb is in also ing. Now tell me, when the earthquake came. Now if you see here, this so-called came is already in the past tense, correct? This came word is already in the past tense. So now when I'm talking about past tense, I cannot use am because am is present tense. Now here, watching is the verb here. ing form is already given in the question. I cannot use V3 anymore. Now the answer is second option. When the earthquake came, I was watching television, correct? When the earthquake came, I was watching television is the right answer. When the earthquake came, I was watching television is the right answer. We'll go to the next question. Dash your father recovered. Are you fundamentally talking about you? No. You're fundamentally talking about father. So naturally, father is he. Now, if you see the first option, have he, there is no relation at all. Now, there are three verbs possible chances. But you know, the verbal form, when will comes, verb is the first form. When has comes, verb is the third form. When is comes, verb is in the fourth form, that is ing form. Is recovered ing? No, right? Eliminate the second option. Is recovered first form? No, right? Eliminate it. So now the answer is has is the right answer. That is the third option. So now the answer becomes like, has your father recovered? Has your father recovered? We'll go to the next question. It's a very simple question. She dash learning grammar. I think I don't have to explain this in detail because we have been learning the things very clearly, I'm sure. The right answer is the option 2. She is learning grammar. There are many reasons for that. First option, no chance, because she is the subject, were is the verb. There is no chance at all. If I want to use has in a sentence, I can use has, but the verb should be in the V3. Here verb is in the ing form. And you know what, my dear friends? She don't is not at all the right usage at all. We'll go to the next question. The principal dash made a sudden visit to the library. The principal dash made a sudden visit to the library. If you see here, you're basically talking about principal. Now principal means, let us assume he. Now there is no relation with the first option because he have is a wrong grammar. Now the other options, there are chances, but if you see verse comes, ing comes, has comes, v3 comes, and will comes, v1 comes. Made, do you think made is v1 or v3 or what? For your kind information, I'm writing the verbal forms here. Make is a v1, made is the v2, made is a v3, and making is a v4. So here made is given, it is definitely not v1, it is not definitely ing. So naturally not ing, not v1, only the C is the right option. Option C becomes the right option. So what happens is, the principal has made a sudden visit to the library is 100% the right answer. Let's go to the next question. I dash reached the venue before the event started. See, I dash reached the venue before the event started. Let's take the subject first of all, I. Now there is no relation with the first option, I has. Now I will is okay, but when will comes, the verb is in the first form. Here reached is not the first form of the verb, so it is gone. Now I can use verse, but the problem is if I want to use verse, the verb should be in the continuous form. Reaching is not the continuous form, it is gone. Yes, you're right. The option is the third option. I had reached the venue before the event started. How beautiful it is. Because had comes, the verb should be always in the third form. Let's go to the next question. Dash you understand the concept. What is the subject you are talking about? You. My dear friends, do you know that does you is a wrong grammar? Okay. Now can I say have you? Yes, I can say have you, but have takes the verb in the third form. Can I say are you? Yes, I can say are you, but are takes the verb in the ing form. Can I say did you? I can say did you, but did takes the verb in the first form. What is the verb here? Understand. My dear friends, for your kind understanding, I'll write the verbal forms of understand. Understand, the verbal forms are understand, understood, and again understood. And naturally the fourth one would be ing form. So now understand is a first form. Now if I want to use v3, this is not v3 anymore, so it is wrong. This is not ing anymore, it is wrong. So the fourth option is the right option, that is the answer did. Did you understand the concept is the right answer. Did you understand the concept is the right answer. And we go to the next question. There dash many varieties of spiders. If you see here, it's a simple answer. There are many varieties of spiders. Correct? We'll go to the next question. The picture dash painted by him. It's a very important model and tricky question. Be very careful. Don't make mistakes. The picture dash painted by him is a beautiful exercise. If you read the complete question, by him is the question here, which means, do you know something about passive voice? Yes. It is not a new concept because since our school days, we have been learning the passive voice very much. If an action is done by somebody, we use the grammar, passive grammar. Now, logically, passive voice, there is no will. How many of you know that in passive voice, will doesn't exist? In passive voice, only will be exists. How many of you know that in passive voice, has doesn't exist? In passive voice, always has been exists. Now the right answer is option C. Was this the right answer? The picture was painted by him. You may be asking me a question, sir, what about the fourth option? I think fourth option is instantly you can say wrong because will being grammar itself doesn't exist. You can never say well-being. It doesn't exist in English language. We'll go to the next question. Why dash you work hard? Why dash you work hard? Here the subject you're talking about is you. Now does. I cannot say does you. It is no way used in grammar. Was you is not used at all. There are two possible chances where second option or third option can happen. There are two chances where second option or third option can happen. Now if you see the are, I can use are, but the verb should be in ing form. I can use do, the verb is first form. My dear friends, here work is the first form, so option C is the right option. Why don't you work hard is the right option. Why don't you work hard is the right option. Here we go with the next question. Where dash you dropped my brother? Where dash you dropped my brother? If you see this, you is the subject. Can I say has you? No, I can't. Can I say have you? I can. Can I say did you? I can. Can I say are you? I can. But do you know the verbal form of have? V3. Verbal form of did? V1. Verbal form of are? ing. Dropped is not ing anymore. So it is wrong. And dropped is not V1 at all. It is wrong. The option is the second option. So the answer is where have you dropped my brother is 100% going to be the right answer. Now it's a very interesting question. Let me see whether you can try this answer and get it right. Be very careful. Money dash spent. Always remember money is singular. Always remember money is singular. So R cannot be used. Now, can I use has? Can I use was? Can I use will? One thing is for sure, when will comes in a sentence, the verb is first form. Here spent is past tense, so no way. Now there are two options, second and third, which is the right answer. Third option is the right answer. Money was spent. My dear friends, how many of you know that this sentence is in passive? You may be surprised because I said this is passive, but in this sentence you don't find buy. My dear friends, we will have a separate session, separate video on active voice, passive voice, where in detail we will discuss buy is a very important thing, but not in every passive sentence buy is mandatory. Buy is a choice. It is not a compulsion. We'll go to the next question. The snake dash being killed by the villagers. You're fundamentally talking about a snake. Snake is a singular here. There is no chance were. You can't use snake were. Have is plural, snake is singular. There is no way. Now it is a very simple question because been is used. It is only possible with has. You can't use is. Why, sir? Because in English grammar, has been is there, but there is no grammar like is been in any way. Is been is not at all existing. Here we go with the next question. My mother dash known him for 5 years. My dear friends, you're fundamentally talking about mother. My dear friends, mother is she. You cannot use mother do in any way because she do wrong grammar. She have wrong grammar. Now it can be did, it can be has. Has the verb is in the third form. Had the verb is in the third form. Here the verb is known. Known is third form. I would like to remind you of the fact that no verbal forms are no, new, known. No verbal forms are no, new, known. So now naturally it is in the third form. Now it is a dilemma, right? Has is also correct. Had is also correct. But don't worry. Here is the indication. You say for 5 years. When I mention a period of time, yes, we use perfect or perfect continuous. Don't worry if you don't understand it. This is only the basic grammar where you will be slowly coming across a lot of important rules ahead. But I'm sure you got it. We'll go to the next question. These toys dash brought by him. I think this is a simple question because by him is the grammar here. And now naturally by is always in passive. No doubt about it. Correct? Now the subject is toys. toys is plural, is singular, am out of imagination, am is used only for I. Now, if you want to use will, the verb should be V1. Brought is not V1, so the right answer is the option B. So, I'm trying to analyze every option because that is required. You must understand what the right answer is simultaneously. You must also understand why the other options are wrong. So, in this session, we have worked on wonderful exercises on basic grammar. I repeat, basic grammar is nothing else but sentence formation. Remember how a sentence is formed. That makes a tremendous difference. What is sentence formation? The relationship between the subject, helping verb, and verb. These three characters together make a sentence. To make a sentence properly, you should know the relationship among them. I hope the session is useful and I hope you understood the points and the rules here. I hope the session is interesting as well. Wishing you good luck and all the best.